Okay, I'm recording a video out here in Sacramento William Land Park. This is Michael McAnally, and just spent the night at Sean's house, and we've had intense discussions about Google Glass, as well as some disagreements, which is what one would expect in discussing new technology in which there's a lot of things to be redefined. So, I'm just going to take the lay of the land here, this baseball diamond, as a way of describing this new interface that Sean and I say Sean first because he's kind of one that suggested it first, but I wasn't quite sure that it would fit within the Android paradigm. But it means that things have to be rewritten. I have to be very clever or find other programmers who can help me out because it's a tough one. But it's still easier to do than pattern recognition or fine-grained GPS at the moment, which would require hardware probably. Okay, so here's your field of view. So basically, I can look right and left and up and down and all around at the sky and down at my feet and all the way around me in the diamond here. Okay? Now imagine there's a panel in front of me right here, a graphical panel, but it extends out into the edges of my view. So when I go up, the panel's up here at the top. When I go down, the panel's down here. There's some sort of artificial horizon, but the panel doesn't necessarily have to recognize it. And then there's this thing over here at the far left and the far right. And then if I turn around, the panel extends as a circle around me. I'm like inside of a sphere. Okay? So it's a definition of how large you want this panel, if you will, this view panel to be, whether it wants to be 360 around you or whatever. But my glass field of vision is limited just to this area that is around my vision right here. But I move it around, if you will, you know, like a director of a movie. And so there's like this invisible little... Or maybe it's visible, maybe it's maybe you can determine what you want it to be when you go through the calibration sequence. So this little crosshairs, it's in the middle here. It's basically the center of my field of vision view, of the augmented reality view, the field of augmented reality view, okay? And it's kind of like a selector. So it can be activated by either a tap on the side. I don't want to stop recording. A tap on the side, or you know, an eye wink or something like that, okay? Or a speak, execute, some kind of command when it knows that you're centered on a specific active element. An active element is like a button or an input field or a slider or some kind of interface that is on this panel, right? The panel... I'm not sure that the panel really actually scrolls up and down more so than your head scrolls up and down through the panel. Okay? All right. So then, when you wink on something, it activates. Okay, so let's go through the calibration sequence we're going to have to ask each person to do before they use this app. Or there will be a default calibration setting in profile, and then if you want to reset it, you can do that. Okay, so we would ask you to look straight ahead, and in this case I'm looking straight back through the pictures mount here. We'd ask you to look straight ahead and at a normal angle of your head. And then we'd ask you to like tip all the way up as far as it's comfortable and all the way down as far as it's comfortable, maybe possibly to your feet, okay? And then would you mark the horizon as well by going right and left? Okay? So you get, and then move your head all around to make sure you get a good field of vision. So then all the data that it gets for that centers a target area on the whole area. So way up here is the edge of my vision over here and around like this, okay? And then as I turn around, I'm extending that vision to copies of panels around me that are side by side or something. I don't know. I have to look into that. Okay, so now when I'm at the center, let's say that this pictures mound is actually an AR object floating out here somewhere, right here, okay? And when I blink my eye, it activates, okay? Now I'm using a background image to sort of illustrate the fact that this is here, but it would be more like a floating image that relates to its position on the panel here, okay? All right, so I can blink my eye and activate it, or I can say run task or whatever, or give me data, or, you know, make a phone call, who knows? So that's it for that. This is part of a framework that has to be developed to provide an interface on which to build things like apps, games, functional apps, you know, all kinds of things. And so where you store your information, it's going to mean that people are going to be doing a lot of head movements to select through, or navigate through would be a better word, these AR panels, okay? And it's going to be difficult to do. I have to do some more research to see if it can even be done, but I think it makes more sense than maybe some of the other ideas I've been thinking about this time. Okay, so I'm going to share this video with Sean, and maybe anyone else who I think needs to watch it, who can help me with the coding for this or something, or thinking out the idea. It's very generalized, and I know there's a lot of questions and a lot of work to be done, but this is the general idea. I kind of just want to walk through the rest of William Land Park now, but I can record a separate video for that.